Oh, fire!
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be fitting the new ECU to the Volvo. Hopefully I can pick up all the bits that I'm working on and you can see what's going on. You can see in here there are wires everywhere, and I'm just trying to get rid of what I don't need first, so I've got a nice clean base to work with. There is a Viper alarm system in here which hasn't worked really since I've had the car, and it can be very temperamental, so that's coming out. The car gets completely immobilized anyway when it gets parked up. I'm going to try and get rid of all of this, tidy it all up. You can see it is an absolute state everywhere. I'm going to try and tidy all this up, and then I'm going to get to fitting the new ECU. Alright guys, I have been busy for the last probably 4 hours, and I have been tidying this up as best I can, and look at that. That is so much better than the rat's nest that was there before. There's a load of wires that came out. You can see the Viper alarm system, and what's taken the time is all of the alarm and a lot of other things actually were just spliced into the loom. So obviously the ignition barrel here, down here, this down here controls the central locking and indicators and things like that, I believe, and it was all tied into that. So I got rid of all of that, and then I kind of went on a bit of a mission, getting rid of all the other wiring. The gauge cluster that was up the pillar there's a load of wires there that you can see, and I did have an oil pressure gauge and AFR in here, which I've temporarily taken out because I have made this. These gauges were actually just zip tied in, and I've decided to add a main cut-off. So I've been rerouting the big power cable which goes to the battery, and round the front as well. I mean, the alarm system was just everywhere. Obviously went to the bonnet, there was a siren in there, there was various other bits and bobs which I've had to cut out. So there's, you know, bits everywhere. I mean, the oil temperature gauge, the sensor is down there, and it looped all the way around the engine bay and in behind the dash and all the way to the pod there. So there's much better ways that that could be routed, which is what I'm going to do. It's just been a general tidy up. So how much of the ECU have I fitted? Absolutely none of it, but hopefully, because there will be wires everywhere, this will help to make it better. It was a bit of an electrical nightmare in there, and I have had an electric fire before behind the dash, and it's not great. Okay, here we go. This is now wired up to the battery, so if I switch that on, and the interior light has just turned on, hopefully the car will start. So make sure it's not in gear, and we have lights, and it fires up. Fantastic. So plenty more to do. I've got to wire all that back in, but slightly neater this time, and then get onto the ECU. Here we go guys, we're a few days later. Lots of time has been spent on this, and it is so much neater. As you can see, we now have this panel with a couple of gauges, oil pressure and air fuel ratio, and we also have a battery isolator. If we turn this, and if I turn the ignition, there you go, things start lighting up, gauges light up. I won't crank it because it's definitely not going to start, because I'll show you why. So the car won't start because, if you have a look, I've taken the old coils out, because the old coils are what is known as dumb coils. They don't have a built-in igniter. These are smart coils, so they are from an Audi R8, and there'll be coil on every single plug, but it's not going full sequential just yet. And what I'll do is I need to make a little bit of a harness. I'm going to try and make it plug and play for now. The reason why I want to keep it plug and play is because if I need to reverse this and I don't get the car mapped properly before the track day, I can plug this back in because I know the car runs pretty well and it's fairly safe, and I'll be able to do the track day in less than a month's time. So that's why I want to keep this plug and play. Once it's all working properly, I can rip that out and do a proper designated harness for it. Right, the next stage is I have to get at the ECU, which is down there. That pin that holds those two plates together is a security fixing which you can't actually undo, so I'm going to have to get the grinder out to cut that off. And then once I've done that, over here on the passenger side is a Speeduino ECU, and I also have a custom wiring harness which will basically make this plug and play. It has taken many hours, lots of soldering and lots of figuring out which wire goes where, but hopefully this will plug in and mostly work. If I did have the coil harness all ready to go, then we could probably give it a test fire, but I'm going to get this in place, plug it in, make sure that all the sensors are working, throttle position sensor, coolant temperature sensor, so on and so forth is working. I've already mapped in the parameters of this engine, the size of injectors, the dwell times on the R8 coils, things like that. That's all been programmed into this. Then it's basically give it a test fire and see how it goes. So what I've got to do is cut that bolt off, get the grinder out, and then plug this in, power it on, see if it works, and then start calibrating all the sensors. Also, what I have to do is wire this into the wideband, because it will take wideband signals off of that, and that will serve for my O2 correction. God knows how I did this last time. I used to have an S40 years ago that ran standalone, and I had full interior in that one, so must have been some sort of hero. There we go. There we go. That was some effort. Right, there is the original ECU. This plugs into here. This then goes onto the old ECU like that. This should be operational now. I will go grab the laptop, see if we're reading anything. So, not connected. It does power on through USB, so it will say that it connects. Oh, we've got some readings. Let's try that throttle position sensor. Hey, so we've got something. Inlet air temperature 5 degrees, could well be. Coolant temperature 15, again, could well be. So yeah, that's good news. We've got some form of response. Okay, a quick one this morning. I have made last night a harness, bit of a plug and play harness to go to the ignition coils. These will plug into the existing Volvo loom, and the only thing I need to do is ground it to the head and then ground this to the ECU. So here we are, hopefully you can see that. These should just drop in here. This one plugs into here, and this one here. Now the reason why I've gone about doing this loom is purely because I think I mentioned earlier that I need to be able to reverse this, so it's quite simple for me to unplug that and plug the old coils back in and run it on the existing Volvo management, because I've got that plug and play harness, just in case none of this works and I can't get the car ready for the track day. All I have to do is ground this to the head and run this over to the ECU ground, and then I'm going to try and fire up the car. I have done a bit more work on the tune, if you want to call it that, just setting all the engine parameters and stuff like that. I've not filmed any of that because that is quite in depth and quite detailed, but I can give a bit of info on that if you want to ask the question. So I'm going to quickly do this. I'm going to give it a couple of attempts to fire. If it doesn't work, then I will revisit this a bit later this week. I think we're at a point that we're going to crank this now, so what I want to do is I want to log this. Let's give this a go. So I notice engine speed isn't picking up, engine speed's not picking up, crank sensor. Definitely got fuel because I can smell the fuel, so that's happening. I think it is purely down to the crank sensor. Woohoo! 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 Right guys, I've been having a bit of a nightmare with this, but I think I might be onto something here. I think I actually had the crank sensor polarity the wrong way, so timing was out somewhat. But I think we're at a point now. Let's try and crank this over, try and start it. We'll stick the injectors in, and yeah, fingers crossed, eh? See what happens. No. That's disappointing. Let me have another think. So here we go. I have just hopefully figured out how to do this. We have to repin the... What did I have to do?
Repin the fuel pump.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. Right, I've just had to repin the fuel pump, so the standalone ECU is controlling the fuel pump. So when I prime now, go start up, cranking settings. So I've got 120 seconds on the fuel prime, so that now primes up and stays on, and hopefully this is going to work. We shall see. No, it's not.
No.
Let's have a look. When I crank, so the injector's now firing. Is the... Oh, I know why.
Why?
I know exactly why.
What have you not connected?
The strobe isn't strobing, is it?
No.
No, because the coils aren't grounded. Right, let's try again. Bang. Right, that tells me timing is retarded.
Whereabouts is the mark on here? Is it low down?
You can see there's a Jubilee clip.
Yeah.
When it sparks, it should be in line with that. I'll put it back to 110.
Oh, I see the Jubilee with a yellow dot on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
static. Pretty much bang on the line, on the mark. That tells me that's right. That tells you you've got the right trigger. Does it actually tell you you're at the right offset? I reckon plug the injectors back in. You unplugged all 4. Right, they're all back in. You've got fuel now. Do you want to undo the rail? Just confirm that the injectors are squirting in order in the right way? How easy is it to lose the little spaces? Go for it. 1 and 3 have fired very, very little there though, mate. But really little compared to that priming round. Mind you, that was 50% duty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to get in touch with Richard Bell.
Yes. Where is my phone? Oh, in my pocket.
Richard! Richard, what's wrong with my car?
I'll try the others in test mode.
I said, do you want to test them all? And you said, nah, just the one. 3. Yeah, 4 spraying. 2 spraying. 1 spraying.
Okay.
A lot. What are you thinking? What did that kick back out of? Oh, 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 fire!
Yeah, we forgot about that, didn't we?
There's a bit of fuel there. Think you know what it is?
Yeah.
What is it?
I needed a power cycle.
It's a power cycle.
Thing out from the Dutch work now.
Oh, they all firing.
It looked like it.
So I put this back in?
Yeah.
You reckon it'll run with 4 injectors?
It might do.
Right, so we've done a power cycle from the ECU. Injectors are back in, they're all firing. This might be the one.
The only thing that I thought of was quickly whip out
I was going to say,
the
should we whip?
injector, check TDC is on that mark.
Should we whip a plug out and see what colour it is?
It should be wet after all that.
Yeah, I mean, you might whip number 1 out and find that it's so wet, no wonder it's not running. Mine does that a lot.
We are still recording.
Yeah, wouldn't be an AP video without 29 hours of footage for 4 minutes of video. It's wet, but it's... I wouldn't say that's... Car's not going to run wet. I wouldn't say that's wet enough to stop it for a non-start.
Yeah.
When mine fouls, they literally come out dripping. Not like that. Oh, look at that.
You two are going to do strap-ons and... Well, you've got one attached to your phone and he's got one attached to his chest. So gay.
I've even got a little microphone on it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hot.
It's extremely hot. That's like a good 5-10 minutes of work.
Yeah, I literally just made... What did you do that? You
That is-
absolute pellet.
That's completely burnt my tongue.
That's savage. Oh, right, TDC we're happy with. Shall I put the plug back in?
Yeah.
We're happy it's sparking at the right time.
Yeah, that's cylinder 1. Because it's 1 and 4, obviously.
Oh, hang on. What cylinder 1 are you saying?
This is cylinder 1.
Yeah, that's cylinder 1.
Yeah, that's cylinder 4.
Yeah. So what's that on?
That's cylinder 1 and 4 because it's wasted spark. They spark at the same
Oh,
time.
it's 1 and 4 that spark together.
Yeah.
There's no way we could be 180 degrees out somewhere, is there?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I don't.
Because
think,
the
I don't think
light
it can
will
be.
also flash at alternate positions. If it's wasted spark, the light will flash at 0 and 180. That's why the light flashes so quickly, because it's doing wasted spark, isn't it? You've offset 90 degrees one way
Yeah,
to be
it's
180 degrees out. It might be the offset is 90 degrees the other
minus
way,
90
which would explain why it's sparking and fueling.
and blowing out the exhaust.
Yeah. Can you put minus 90 in the offset?
Yeah, I can.
Shall we do that? Try with the gun again, see if we've still got a static light.
Yeah.
Unplug these, flip the signal, see what the timing light gives us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bang on the mark at minus 90.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it. solved it.
Solved it.
We solved it. Was I useful?
You were.
I was useful. I was useful. It runs.
Yeah, we just got to keep it running.
Do it again. Sweet. So it sounds like everything is too lean. We've fucking done it! I'm scared of this coffee in case it burns me. And it just fires up and runs brilliantly. So, coming soon to YouTube, tuning the S40.
It's going to be fun. We've got track day of Bedford.
We've got 2 weeks.
1st of May.
Yeah, 1st of May, 14th of April today.
Yeah.
We've got 2 weeks to tune this on the HX40.
It would be nice to be around 2 bar for Bedford.
Happy days. The Red Baron lives again. Oh mate, that started so well.
Yeah.
So there we go guys, the car is finally started on the Speeduino ECU. Now obviously big thanks to Nick from Team Prawn Racing, you saw him in the video to help me get the car started, and also a massive thank you to Richard Bell. Richard is the guy that I bought the ECU from, and he has been my tech support and then some, so thank you very much to Richard. If you're looking for Speeduino, Richard Bell is your man. He was able to answer every single question that I had, and he gave up a lot of his time to help me, so thank you very much, Richard. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know that I did skip over quite a few steps in the install of the ECU, but if you do have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe if you've not already done so, and I will see you in the next video where hopefully we will be taking the car for a drive and doing some mapping. See you then.